When I was preparing for this interview, I read
Mhm.
through some of your blog posts from last year about some of your struggles with writing and with creativity. And I do also remember you had put out some TikToks about this and about some of the expectations that you have for yourself. One of the themes that came up again and again was this: throwing away all the you must do this, you have to do that. If you don't accomplish this, then you're a failure. If you throw all that away, that it's incredibly freeing and has been freeing for you. Tell me, how does giving up all these so-called rules, the one that others tell us, the ones that we tell ourselves, how does giving all that up actually make you a better writer? Not to mention probably a happier writer. And then how does that show up in your writing?
So, when I first decided that I wanted to write, more than fan fiction, actually publish, a lot of well-meaning friends gave me every book on writing that you can imagine. I got Stephen King's on writing. I got Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird. I got, this and that and whatever. And I began reading them all. And almost every book had conflicting advice, you know? And I found myself, trying to do one thing and trying to do another thing, and then it just sort of shut me down. I was like, I couldn't write at all. My writing process is very weird. I don't recommend it to anyone else, all right? I am pretty much a diehard pantser. I have become more of a plotter because you have to have plot in a mystery, right? But a lot of the time, I have this sort of vague idea what I want to do, and then I start writing and I start moving puzzle pieces around, and then a pattern appears. And
Mhm.
when that pattern appears, then I'm like, okay, now I know what I'm going to do. And we're going to shove pieces, this way and that way. And when it started, when I wanted writing to be my retirement plan, when I wanted writing to be my way to leave the day job,
Mhm.
then I started same thing, studying advertising, studying marketing, doing all the things that, jumping through the hoops to please the algorithm and this and that and what have you. And my friends who also write will tell me, they're like, we don't know anybody who works as hard as you do to, self promote and market. You are one of the most successful people we know at that. And I'm like, yeah, and I still might as well be Noah on the deck of the ark releasing doves in the hopes that one of them will bring back an olive branch and tell me that there's dry land out there. And my friends who are talented, talented writers, I mean, when we get together as a critique group, their material just blows me out of the water. We spend a whole lot of time on my stuff because it needs a lot of work. And then I'll be like, yours was perfect here, you know. But they want agents and they want publishing contracts. I spent a lot of time and money going to mystery conventions back a few years back, and everything at these book conventions is aimed at getting that editor, getting that agent, getting that publisher.
Yeah.
And I saw people take 5 years to get an agent,
Mhm.
5 years to get a publisher, and then 2 or 3 more years to see the book published.
Yeah.
And I'm like, counting that up, and I'm like, I don't have that kind of time left. I don't.
Yeah.
And then more recently, I have come to the conclusion that this will not be my retirement plan. This will not allow me to quit the day job. So what it has to be now is fun.
Yeah.
It has to be fun. And doing all of the hard push marketing and so on and so forth just wasn't fun anymore. And yet at the same time, it's very hard to let it go
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're told this is what you must do. And also because there is that whole mindset that's like, well, you just didn't try hard enough. If you believe, it will come. If you believe, it will happen. And if you believe hard enough, you will be successful. And I don't know, I read a statistic somewhere, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to the effect that on Post releases like 8,000 new books a day,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's no competing with that. I don't have
Mhm.
the budget. I don't have the time. I put in 10-hour work days. I work 6 days a week, you know, and so now it's got to be fun.
Yeah.
And that means that, I took a year off from the Ginny Reese mysteries to work on a ridiculous paranormal cozy mystery that will probably have no audience whatsoever.
There's a
Um,
huge audience for
there
paranormal.
is, there
Yeah.
is, but am I going to write a whole series about this universe that I built? Probably not. Um, you know, and if I'm serious about being a dedicated writer and, making a, as a successful writer, I should be publishing 3 or 4 books a year as an indie author. I've been publishing since 2010,
Mhm.
different pen names, I have published 30 books
That's
and I
amazing.
still haven't made it, right? I've gotten better. I'm a better writer, but I also am finding it harder to put out a book a year. I will definitely say that my creative well is often empty when I get home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And now it's more important to me that I release a book that I'm happy with. And so I'm at the 90% mark on this book that I'm working on, and I'm just not happy with it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I am not releasing this until I like this book, you
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
that's my goal now.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate so much. When I first decided to publish, I think I was 51, and I maybe a 5 seconds I was like, "Oh, should I get an agent?" And I was no. By the time I get this book published, it would have been too long for
Mm.
me. I mean, I like to think I'll still be alive in 6 years or whatever, but it would have been too long. And so, like, for me, it was like, I want control of my time. I think when you let go of all of the shoulds and the all
Mhm.
what you're supposed to's, and you just do it for the joy of doing it, some of that the fun comes back, the creativity comes
Mhm.
back. So
And then you want to write, so you write
exactly.
faster.